Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to another Adamant Cup race. We have ourselves a fantastic matchup in the Karate Geek group between Galeswift and Couch 23. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined tonight by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Night Dew. Welcome to the comms booth, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me here, and yeah, things looking really great kind of today here. A name I very much recognize in Couch 23 raced with for, dear lord, is it 4 years now? Yeah, and Galeswift, who coming out of this group 2-1 here, showing some pretty major skills. So especially with the objective list like this, we're looking at a pretty good race tonight here.
Absolutely, this race is going to be absolutely pivotal for whoever comes out of this race, of this group on top. And this list of objectives to complete, only one, required trip to the moon theoretically. We have lots of different objectives all over the place, not a lot of overlap. I know we were talking in the booth ahead of time, but this looks like we might be in for a bit of a long night just with how many different objectives and different key items we could be searching for throughout the night.
Yeah, as I was looking, I was counting in my head here, depending on how the hook and the magma key fall out, we could need up to 10, count them, 10 key items here to actually complete this entire seed here.
And that's an absolutely staggering amount. We don't have any stats on what kind of the average is, but I think based on educated guesses, we can say between like 6 and 8. So to be that high, there's a lot of different objective checks we're going to have to make. We have a Sid start, which is nice, not fantastic, but nice, right?
I mean, at the beginning of the game, it's really nice here. I mean, it's 788 hit points. You really don't care about the speed efficiency. However, I mean, even if anything, you find a curse string, you find a Dorfax, that's a big negative 20 agility to Sid right there. That's an anchor that you can actually just throw levels on. You don't even have to worry about keeping him down. You can give Sid 4,000 hit points, and he'll still be a good anchor.
True. There's lots of different strategies going through. Of course, being limited to only 4 characters, while the normal party usually is up to 5, can certainly play and has played a role in how we end up building out our parties going through here. So this really should be kind of a determining match moving forward. I'm really excited to see what kind of decisions these two end up making, if they're going to make any meta decisions based on reviews of each other. I know, you mentioned Couch is a longtime competitor in here. He's been around as long as almost as the two of us, but we'll see if he ends up making some old school decisions. And we're paired up with a Porum to start.
I don't mind it, especially with Sid here. Get some quick berserk going on there. A magma key. I saw a lip bolt. I did see at least one hourglass, or hourglass 3s and lip bolts in there. So there is possibly something there. You could make a cheeky emblem play right now. I'm not sure I would do it immediately with this team, just because the power level, unless you get something like real crazy like an arty bow and some good arrows for Sid to throw around here. We might just kind of want to be seeing either what that magma key, if you want to just jump immediately underground, or check on bedward and then jump there, given we do have the free key item. No boss stunts this time, so no demon stunts, and we do see a Galeswift going immediately south, probably turning in that magma key, as Couch is doing the same.
Yeah, I can understand this particular play. You want to go ahead and get into the underground. That's the first phase of the game, getting into the underground as fast as you possibly can. I personally would probably be checking Edward, because I'm hoping for a cheeky pan at Edward so we can make some more efficiency checks at that point in time. But I can absolutely understand playing the percentages at this point in time. I'm just saying, it's not likely to be there. Let's go ahead and just go to the underground as quick as possible. The underground, of course, has superior item shops, has superior weapon shops, and greater access to, I think, better overall looting. I know Evelyn Castle has been very popular just because of the density of items that you can get that are generally considered very, very good. but it comes with some risks associated with that. There's no risks in checking, for example, the Tomra shops that Galeswift is getting ready to check right here, and Couch is following right behind.
Did we have a planning meeting? We weren't in here, as Galeswift goes immediately to the back of Tomer for 6 checks here. Instantly validates a seed. I believe that was a materials scientist here. Big Zeus gauntlets and strength ring in there. What a warehouse in Tomra here.
Oh, and sorcerer robes available for sale. If you're missing some finery for your mages, just go to Tomra. They have all of your needs. You put a sorcerer robe on, and you almost don't need too much else there. Soma drops and Hermes available in the item shop. Not necessarily what you're looking for in the item shop, but at least when it comes to defense, that's a fantastic spot to start with there.
Yeah, a little bit of a meta note here that we did see a weapon shop check there, and while most of the weapons there weren't there to write home about, we did see drain spears in there. So if Edge does show his face early, that's a good source of darts right there.
What's this? We also got a power robe and a dragoon armor available. It looks like Couch is opting to not loot as thoroughly. Does pick up a ribbon in that one off chest, but Couch is instead going to be doing some alternative looting. Meanwhile, Galeswift is checking more thoroughly through this Feymarch area. Remember, there is some pretty decent loot located in here with the T Wildish flag that's turned on. And we have a hook available. I mean, we need it eventually, but okay, we'll take a hook this early after we already have the magma key. Sure.
Yeah, we got sirens for sale, and the big thing is Galeswift did find that monster's chest on the first floor here. So all these another Zeus gauntlets, life staff, longsword, this extra looting here especially does pick up that ribbon as well. This extra looting here, at least in terms of quality, is paying off for Galeswift here.
In this tournament, the big question has always been what to loot and where to loot. And you have to be conscious of what is needed for the party that you're trying to build, and building things out and knowing when to stop looting. Now, Galeswift, I would argue, has, this is definitely a high likelihood of getting some good loot, made the gamble, went ahead and got some great loot, will be able to stop looting, I think, much earlier than Couch. Although Couch hasn't really shown much of an inclination to do much looting at all up to this point in time. It will be interesting to see how the loot question kind of plays out as the seed progresses. But right now, Galeswift, while in a straight line race, is absolutely behind Couch right now. I gotta give the edge in terms of overall gear to Galeswift, because Gale will be able to get through a lot of these races much, much sooner and quicker with some of these boss fights than Couch will.
The thing is, I mean, real quick, our runner's actually probably extremely happy. I'm kind of surprised nobody did decide to save and possibly check that sparkle to see what they were dealing with the queen slot. The king slot, which is required here, is Bahamut, so that's actually a fairly free fight there. Just throw up a couple star bales, get a few swings in, and you're pretty good to go there. Also, samurai arrows, which is one big thing I like to see if I'm going to have an archer running there, is to know where the second best arrows are, because I can't really buy arties out there. So samurai arrows in the weapon shop at the Feymarch, good to see here, as Couch is back above ground here and is going to pop this hovercraft. I'm wondering if we are going to see in a Cave Evelyn check here, just to see what that character might be. Curiously, is actually going for the Damsian basement here, which the loot is usually of lower quality here. Did get another Sylph Orb, that's 2 of those, got a Vampire, and nothing real big to write home about in the Damsian basement here.
Oh, Galeswift made a cheeky check. A lot of runners have been starting to check these first 2 chests in this Sylph Cave. Sylph Cave is an interesting area in that it has some very high quality loot. However, because of the density of trapped treasure chests, some runners end up just opting not to risk opening anything because of the high likelihood of opening a trap chest there, but is rewarded with a curse ring in one of those first checks, which you mentioned earlier is absolutely invaluable to help set up your agility anchoring towards the end of the fight, which is a fantastic check there. Couch, meanwhile, looks like is opting to, with that hook, says, hey, I have another character check I can do. This is a lock character check. There's a high likelihood that I can get someone that I really, really would like to have in my party. So I'm going to go ahead and check it right now. I respect this particular check by Couch right now.
Yeah, I also do, especially with the gated characters here, where we don't have Cecil anywhere. Hardybo, second chest here, as Couch does close a little bit of that equipment gap here with that Hardybo. That's huge for Sid, actually. As we do see Gale popping a Siren here, and I'm kind of wondering if that Hourglass 3 is going to be, if that Hourglass 3 is totally going to be spent here to smash an egg. Hourglass 2 and Bacchus, two very huge J items for sale over here in Cave Eblin, so yeah, that's extremely good to see for Couch there.
Let's not dismiss the life potions that were there as well. Always good to have a stack of life potions that are available. Galeswift cracked an egg, which will kind of leapfrog him quite a bit forward in terms of overall levels, will make going through the overworld much easier right at the moment. So good heads up here. This is something that I've observed, and Night Dew, I don't know if you've observed a similar phenomenon as Galeswift is going through Castle Eblin here, and Couch is going through Cave Eblin. Where you and I would say, are old heads in the Final Fantasy IV free enterprise community. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. I mean, yeah, we probably are.
So one thing I've seen in this tournament is the runners with more experience, who have been around for a longer period of time, tend to do routing and doing the treasure checks that are more closely associated with older races. We're going to do the Eblin cave check, or we'll do the waterfall cave check, or we'll do things that I think were more closely associated with other tournaments and not necessarily kept up with the meta quite as well as some of the newer runners who are coming out of, say, the Pink Buff League and things of that nature. It feels like Couch is doing things very similar, like the basement check in Damsian, which a lot of the top runners are not necessarily doing anymore, but we still see some older runners just kind of doing it almost out of habit. I don't know if you've seen something similar as well.
Here and there now. I mean, I haven't completely sworn off a Damsian basement. It again, the chances, and meanwhile, while things are going on, we did find a cane and a D-Miss there on the Eblin, and Couch did take the cane here. Second Hardybo, Ogre Axe. Good things for our party there. But the big thing is, a lot of my looting, what I've seen and what I kind of see, go kind of a little situational here. As we do see Couch actually going to take the Staleman fight. I believe this is... oh, wait. Couch has plenty of hourglasses. He's not afraid of anything right now.
Not at all. Remember, we picked up that Ogre, and he also has Medusa arrows, which, by the way, turn people to stone. So, why not?
Yeah, but yeah, I get it there. I've seen a lot less, and I believe you're actually going to see, now that is a huge hourglass, turning those to stone there. Very heads-up play on using the hourglass at the correct time to make sure you get those stone procs there. It gets up a Hummet orb. Good if we find Iridia, but not immediately useful at the current moment here.
No, and I've not necessarily seen, I mean, there's been some decent loot. We have more life staffs than we know what to do with on Galeswift's side. We have one white mage and I think 3 life staffs that I've seen at different points in time. So overall, we're getting some decent loot on both sides. I wouldn't say either character or either player has found game-breaking loot, the kind of things that can carry you through a significant portion of the race, like a Stardust Rod or an Adamant Armor or anything like that. But we've seen some decent gear, at least to get us started.
Yeah, of note that Galeswift did decide to just say, I'm not going to check that character here. And Couch did a little bit more of the looting on the Evelyn Cave side here, and got paid off a little bigger for this team we have here. Double Artie Ogre X, while it doesn't have the power shirt there, has actually at least bridged the gap here a little bit in terms of character power. And again, we have Galeswift doing the normal, hey, let's just go down to Antlion play here, and Couch actually making his way up Mount Ordeals, and I have 3 syllables for you right now. Ha, ha, ha.
You know, this is a really annoying fight because it becomes a cutscene, but if you're going to fight Golbez anywhere, this is the place to fight him, because he will always reduce your party to 2, or will try to reduce your party to 2, depending on everything. If you already only have a party of 2, you're fine. You're doing all right. You know, this is not going to be a major encumbrance for Galeswift at this point in time. Couch, meanwhile, is opting to skip Antlion Cave and went right to Mount Ordeals, which 3 boss fights into a single key item check. Not necessarily required for anyone that we have right at the moment, so a bit of a gutsy play on Couch's side.
Getting even more mileage out of those Medusa arrows there. Sid for exact damage, and going a little further on why you really want to see Golbez here. The magic power, nothing to write home about, but with that little starting kit there, you've got a finite amount of silk or star veils that come up there. You don't have to burn them with Golbez, and the reward, one more of our large amount of key items here. And actually that Siren paying off, because Porum already knows exits, so we're taking the fast way out of here.
That is absolutely fantastic, being able to already know Siren to get out of here. Couch with his levels will take a little bit longer to get through here. If and when he decides to come through here. Now, he will eventually have to, because we were rewarded with the Legend Sword, which is part of our required objectives. And Galeswift finds our favorite bard up on top of Mount Hobbs. Do you tell me truthfully, Knight Do?
I'm out.
I
am out right now. Yep. I turn around. I say, we saw nothing. Goodbye.
Edward, you can stay facing down Lugae the entire day. I don't care. Deuces.
Yep. Now, Couch taking a little bit longer now. This is actually a kind of scary place to find Leviathan, as the magic attack in the back attack slot, not a joke here. Now, I know our runners did have some Dragoon gear, a little bit of resistance. I actually do believe that Kane is already wearing a Protect Ring that was found on the Ascent here as well. So Leviathan not nearly as scary, and yeah, not much you're really going to do to speed up that fight. Anyway, Galeswift takes the Bard, says, yeah, that's fine, I guess. Dr. Dialogue is off the boss list, which is actually better than the Edward, honestly.
I mean, if you get an early spoon, I suppose. But I'm with you. I know bad at that. Like, I see no point in investing any amount of time in a Bard. Maybe Galeswift is, knows something that I do not know. Moving forward, he now has more party members. So at worst, we have a teddy bear here. And oh, hello, we have ourselves a wyvern in a very rude spot that Couch does manage to outspeed to do the damage necessary to get through there. That is an otherwise kind of rude spot for wyvern.
Acquired. That was a tower key. We do have to blow up a super cannon here, as Galeswift, in at 16 minutes even here, is going to give us our bedward check here.
Pan! What did I say?
Which?
5 minutes into this race!
Which? Although you did call it, and that is why I am definitely, I don't care what you start with, go check that bedward, as both runners did prime that Sheila one here. Neither actually did check Sheila one here, but again, bedward holding cookware, and both of these will be taking an extra all expense paid trip to the Sylph Cave.
I am so disappointed in both of you. I want you to know this. When you watch this back on Restream, I want you to know that I am disappointed.
So anyway, for all those key items that we need to be finding, we are actually finding them at a pretty good clip here. I don't think we've hit really about any kind of zonk here at the moment yet.
No, nothing so far. So here comes Couch, who is now doing the Fabul Defend check. Should be able to get through this. It's just not going to be quite as efficient as Galeswift.
Yeah, I mean, either way, both of them are taking an extra step down here, as Galeswift is like, well, okay, I guess I'll go turn in this pan since you insisted here. The defense, just an Octomam, nothing really big to write home about here. The big thing that's really kind of keeping Couch at parity here is the fact that he has 2 Artemis bows here, and I would really actually love to see him get back down to the Fey March to find those samurai arrows for these 2 archers here.
It would be really nice if he did, especially when you have double arty bows at this point in time. I can understand all the plays that he's making. So he's not making, I think, wrong plays or incorrect plays. He's making the best guesses based on what he knows. And Galeswift is not rewarded with any sort of key items, just a Dragon Whip, and with no sign of any Rydia nearby. That Dragon Whip is just going to sit and probably be sold for a nice chunk of change a little bit later, but at least it will prompt Galeswift to immediately turn this in and do a 3-for-1 dip here into Fabul. Well, Couch is just to...
Yeah, Couch bridging the loot gap some more, goes and checks the pot over in the Fabul pub. Heroin robe, rat tail, the glass hat just on the Fabul defense here, but that heroin robe gonna make that Porum into quite the DPS actually here. So again, Couch just kind of closing that loot gap here, and again, a little bit behind because of that pan check, but yeah, that's a big thing to find, especially if Rosa shows up and you want to move that over and leave another white magic caster. Or, I mean, Porum totally just uses it well as well.
No one up to this point in time has made any decisions that have put them clearly ahead or behind or anything like that. When we talk about, you know, the loot differences or the time differences or the routing differences, we're talking seconds in terms of difference here. Defense sword that Couch just picked up, by the way, on just a walk-by chest that Galeswift did not open. Now, he has his cane, that Galeswift, but a defense sword cane can do some pretty heavy lifting at this point in the race.
Oh yeah, again, his technical side, I'm going to call it the second best weapon just because Avenger is that good, even if it's a little less than the part here. Now, Golbez is going to knock out somebody, but the thing is, I mean, given how fast this group is here, you notice Kane gets up in the air, we're up to Porum's second turn. Kane has already landed, and we don't have a ha-ha-ha yet, so again, this is just going to be completely Star Veil neutral, and remember that Couch is up the Ordeals check right now, and Galeswift is up the pan return here.
And that pan turn in immediately becomes the Baron key as well, which is another one of our required objectives. I got to imagine that Galeswift, given his levels right now and given his equipment, is saying, yeah, Baron looks really good. Let's go ahead and go do that. Not only to get a couple character checks in the Baron Inn that we have not necessarily seen, but also let's go liberate Baron Castle as well. But hey, let's turn in the Rat Tail while we're at it, because we might as well come over. Now, this is interesting because Galeswift has not turned in and hasn't checked what's in Cave Eplin. Turning in the Rat Tail first. Oh.
Well, I mean, with that Adamant Rock, you know how we were talking about we had so many key item gated objectives here? We're down to needing just the Sand Ruby, just the just the pigtail and a darkness crystal. That's it. This potential major key item hunt has kind of almost turned jet here.
What is going on? And Neobari, I'm going to need you to roll every one of my seeds from here on out. Shout out to Neobari, by the way, doing behind the scenes work, as well as our wonderful Black Ice, who is doing the tracking behind the scenes. I'm just giving shout outs for behind the scenes work, but I'm also asking Neobari, can you roll this kind of wonderful seed for me next race, please?
We do race later, so I will take a Neobari seat here. Either way here, that aside here, the biggest thing here is you did see who was in that Baron Inn, right?
Yeah, that was an Edge. Edge is a fantastic character. He doesn't come quite equipped with the cutlery that he used to, but any character that starts at level 25 that also has some ninja magic that can sweep away some low-level character setups, yeah, I'll take that. I will absolutely take that right now. Thank you.
On record here, I didn't get to say it in stream, so I can't exactly call it a told you so moment, but I am a major proponent of, especially with these seeds, having a possible edge. Oh, by the way, hi Darkness Crystal. We need 2 key items now. But however, I mean, if exactly Edge is sitting in this Baron Inn and we can do it, Edge speeds up a seed. Let's just call it what it is. So yeah, I am a huge proponent of scouting this Baron Inn check as quickly as possible.
This started out as a seed that both of us, I think, before this race was going, hey, let's prepare. This is going to be a long one. We might see a 2-hour long race on this one. And we were like mentally preparing ourselves for the long haul. And now we're like, hey, are we going to be done sub-hour? Because it totally could be that right at the moment.
Yeah, that's 50k well spent there. Again, you say the ninja doesn't really come with anything. Well, hey, we're in the Baron Inn, and we've got a shirt for him at least here. Assassin Dagger Long, not bad here. Plenty of good headwear to go along with that ninja shirt there. And yeah, extra Zeus Gauntlet, and that edge is, not 100% ideal, but still pretty ready to go there.
Assassin Dagger, Longsword, he's Z ready. Between a ninja shirt and the Zeus Gauntlets, he is Z ready. You don't have to, yes, if he had some Hanzo steel, it'd be nice. But here's the thing, when you're in this kind of Adamant Cup sort of race, one-on-one, person on person, get done with the race as fast as you can always find better gear. It's not about finding better gear, it's about finding good enough gear to get through the end of the game. And right now, Edge has good enough gear to get through the end of the game. Kane honestly has good enough gear to get through the game. So does Sid. Porum, let's go buy a Sorchrome and then I'm good. But we're getting close to not needing anything else to get us through the end of the game right now if we really want to push it.
Yeah, so I have a huge question here. How much is that Ordeals check, especially the fact that both of our runners have Forge in their pocket here, which is an objective, by the way, but they both have Forge, and this, we're obviously hunting a Holy Man for that Holy Sword, right?
Holy Man would be nice. He would be great. And I'm always an advocate of, if you have checks that happen to also have character checks, let's go ahead and knock those out. Like, hey, let's check the moon real quick. Hey, let's check Dwarf Castle. Because if you have a Cecil that is already online and you already have to turn in the Kokol to get an Excalibur, that just ends up playing into your strengths at that point in time. Yeah. I don't know if you go out of your way for, like, in this case, like Tower of Zod. It's not an objective, or it's an objective, but it's not necessarily, you have a key item, but it's not like a listed objective. Like, you do the listed objectives first at this point. So I don't know how much you dive.
No, not at all. But one thing I'm also kind of coming up with here is the fact that Couch, again, anchoring is important here, but Couch has actually already, I mean, the Odin is still lurking out there somewhere, but Couch knows where Blarg was. I mean, that's already done for him. Couch has a little bit more freedom here in terms of anchoring. Man, Mute and Samurai, well, Samurai Bow's not so much with two arties over on Couch's side there. Mute Claw, very good upgrade for that edge there, especially if you find a mage type or two, like that Asura earlier there in the Baron Inn. But again, it's just like, it's really kind of hard to call because these two runners are at, given the extra deals check from Couch, we're at kind of parity here. And the one thing is, with that ordeals being required on that tower key, how long is Galeswift going to put it off?
I think it will take Galeswift getting a Cecil or even a Tella. Like, I don't even know if you take Tella at this point. I think it will take getting a Cecil to go there. It is a very popular play right now to dodge Mount Ordeals if you don't have to do it. And that's logical. It's completely 100% logical. As he picks up a Rosa, which I would immediately upgrade personally. Yeah.
No reason for that. No reason for that, Eddie. There, no spoon, no adamants, and about no real reason to go to Eddie strats here. So totally agree. Rosa, a very distinct upgrade over the Bard here.
Absolutely. But in terms of Mount Ordeals, I mean, stop and think about it for a second. And for those of us who are runners, those are 3 bosses plus a cutscene to get through Mount Ordeals, plus having to walk down the mountain that you can't exit out of. Mount Ordeals is a long and cumbersome check that takes about as much time as doing something like Cave Magnus. Oh, by the way, you just got rid of your Edward. Here's the spoon. Thank you so much.
We do have our first objective being lit here in the liberation of said Baron Castle. But, I mean, here we go. Actually, I mean, the big thing was pointed out early. Couch is going to find the spoon. Doesn't care about that Edward because never picked him up. But guess what? It is 29 minutes into the seed. And probably about 31 before Couch gets through there. But when you say we get about half an hour in, nice ninja sword there, but 31 minutes in, and you're getting the 10 key item double XP bonus. I mean, that sounds pretty good, right?
That is silly. I mean, for lack of a better term, that is an absurd level of item density in the early running. If you think about how the item distribution works in this particular randomizer, if you think about how often you have individually, I'm pointing at you as a human being who are listening to me, how many times have you been rewarded by going up Mount Ordeals with something like a samurai helmet because it's worthless at this point in time? It's really kind of silly to be this dense in terms of what we got.
And meanwhile, we got some dolls down on the basement throne. I believe both of our runners have found hourglasses here, if memory serves here. So this should be a free fight both ways. Again, though, we have the moon is completely open. The underground is almost completely open at this point. If you are runners here, obviously, there's this Rosa here. You have 10 key items. We are down to just needing a pink tail and a sand ruby, but oh no, that's not an hourglass, and we got Big Doll over on Galeswift's side here. That's
Calbrenna. That is a rough Calbrenna, and down to only 1 Calbrenna. And once this particular Calbrenna switches forms, is going back to full dolls. Oof, this is...
Yeah. This might be one of the times when you just... it kind of feels like a cut your losses moment here.
I tend to agree, but that's a position you never want to be in as a runner. You never feel good about resetting out of a boss in giving up. That is, I think, something that differentiates the top tier runners and the not top tier runners, is knowing when to reset out of a boss. You're like, no, this is not going to work out for me.
Yeah, as a wise man said, you got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him.
So Galeswift immediately going right back in and says, I can do this. It's worth noting that with that particular boss setup, if you use an hourglass, the back row of those dolls are stopped, so it can make it much easier. But Galeswift has opted, it's like, no, I'm going to go get my ninja sword, and I'm going to come back later.
Yeah, I had a question here for you, and Couch is going to answer it for me here, actually. It's, again, given the setup that you have 10 key items, you have sirens, you have hourglasses, you have everything, you have Forge available. How hard do you start hunting for a Cecil here? You've got the Darkness Crystal check, and we're going to Dwarf Castle here, which is a key item check, and both our runners say, yes, we're taking that particular risk here.
I think it's a worthwhile risk. If you have to do the Forge eventually anyway, it's literally on your way, and it's a key item check. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that none of our runners have gone to the moon yet, if you want me to be 100% honest. We've not even unlocked the Lunar Whale, which is another character check, plus a shop, plus lots of item checks that you can possibly do. I'm a little surprised we haven't dove that yet.
Not entirely yet, but that's just because this blue planet has proven just to be so loaded. I mean, we've got, like I said, every objective but 2 on the way here, and honestly, with this many key item checks still down here, behind objectives, I am definitely a fan of hanging around here and just seeing what my objectives go off to. Maybe I just get go mode down here, go up, get a ribbon room worth of 200,000 XP with the 10 key item bonus here, and we're off the races still. Again, it's 34 minutes in, and both of these runners here have completed a good chunk of this seed already.
So walk me through here, Nightdew. What's going through your mind if you are either of these runners right now? We are effectively tied in terms of key items. I know Couch has the tower key. He's already gone up Mount Ordeals at this point in time, which Galeswift has not necessarily done. What's going through your mind if you're either of these runners, seeing all these key items right now? Like, what's your mentality? Are you worried about making efficient checks? Are you worried about what's on the moon? What's your mindset?
I mean, my mindset right now with the density of how these key items have played out here, part of me is just assuming that this moon could be utterly haunted at this point, and maybe that's why they're staying out of it. And oh my, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Cecil has arrived.
Now, it's a very different Cecil for Couch than it will be for Galeswift. Galeswift still has to go, and I really hope this prompts Gale to go ahead and go up to Mount Ordeals, because he needs to. We know he needs to. We do know that to complete that third objective, destroy the super cannon, he will eventually have to go up and do that, which is fantastic. Either way, though, Cecil is, to be completely 100% honest, the best character in the game. Don't at me. He can equip the best gear. He can swing the hardest. The original game was coded based on his agility so that you could never change anything about him. He is the heavy lifter in any team.
Yeah, and again, that's probably one of the best things that Galeswift could find here, because again, like you said, that drives in Mount Ordeals, and our key item at Dwarf Fortress here is yet another Artie Bow. Actually, really great for Galeswift, who never picked up either of the ones that Couch found. So does get an even better archer out of the deal here. But yeah, that's huge for Galeswift, as it will likely, he did take that Dark Knight, so you can assume he will be on his way to ordeals immediately. Big for Couch because, hey, we're going to forge, we're going to get that tower key, and for the first time this race, we do kind of have a clear leader here. Couch definitely up about an ordeals check, pretty much.
Now, keep in mind, Couch's ordeal check would have been a little bit slower than what Galeswift is getting ready to go through. Galeswift is going to have a full edge and a fairly decent party to go up on Mount Ordeals. Couch did take a little bit more time to get through there, so it's going to be at least a couple minutes, but it's not going to be an insurmountable advantage moving forward.
No, and this is I mean, to be fair, all we're down to is we are down to a hunt for exactly 2 key items here. So again, Couch up about a check here, but now you pose the question to me here. We have the Cecil. The moon is definitely in play here. Where do you go now?
I am strongly of the opinion that you check your objectives. I first of all, I see power robes available for sale here. I'm selling them everything I can to get some power robes going. We're forging the adamant. Right now, if I'm Couch, I immediately go to the tower. I love the tower in part because it's 2 checks. Also, if you just happen to have a Thunderclaw, which I have seen floating around with an edge, go ahead and loot, because you can steal sirens if you haven't already found them from the trap chests, and also the gear that you can get from the trap chests can really fill in some gaps, like Hanzo Steel or an Avenger that you might necessarily be missing, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time. You do that on your way up to doing an objective and 2 key item checks. I think that's the first thing that you end up doing. If you're Couch, Galeswift is doing exactly what I would want him to do, activating that Cecil, make sure he transforms into a paladin. But Couch, the sooner he gets to the Tower of Babel in the lower part, the better.
And yeah, I actually I do like making some, rolling up some eggs here. Again, Cecil about to gain a lot of levels here. 68,000 at base level turns you into a level 26 paladin immediately. That's pretty good.
Just a little bit nice. Like, hey, you're level 1. How would you like to be level 27 immediately? And over 1,000 health. Well, yeah. By the way, with an Excalibur as well, like on top of it all. Now, I will say I'm a little bit worried and concerned for Couch. Not for right now. I think he will be able to blitz through everything he wants to do right now. I am somewhat concerned about his late game setup. He is set up very well with 3 melee and a healer. Tell me how you're going to fight Zero Miss, because that is a tricky situation to get into.
But with the team I have right here, I mean, anchoring is out the window. I mean, Cecil, question mark. I mean, you can back row him and make Porum your anchor, and that might actually be the thing there. Anchoring's a little out the window, but I think Neobari has it pretty much there. So he did sell out. Does have about 120,000. Yeah, 120,000 GP left here. So basically, as Neobar said, 3 Bacchus. I am going back to, I believe it was Dwarf Castle that had the Bacchus wine, and I am slamming that entire bag of money down on the counter and saying, I want all of it.
Bacchus, all of it, please. I want all of your wine. And shout out to all of those. If you're drinking Bacchus wines tonight, if you're drinking anything tonight on this fantastic, gorgeous Saturday evening, by the way, cheers to you in chat. But yeah, it seems like the logical play. Just, hey, we're going to level up. We've done everything that we need to level up. Let's go ahead and make it do. And how often are we honestly in the position at 41 minutes in to grind on eggs in the underworld because we already have 10 key items and we would like to just go in and move through the Tower of Babel as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, I mean,
how often does that happen?
I am a major proponent of early egg grinds, especially on here. Now, mind you, these are high completion seeds, so in most cases, you're going to get your grind as you just naturally move through the seed. But especially even with a weaker party, just giving them a couple, even not 10 key item eggs here. Yeah, now, mind you, having that 10 key items with those 3 mashed eggs, and all of a sudden you're getting closer to Z level readiness here. But yeah, this is, as this guy has said, this is power overwhelming here, and it now comes down to how well can you wield this power overwhelming.
The only issue that I have, and it's a minor issue, is you have to be concerned a little bit about Porum. Porum is one of 2 white mages, one of 2 specific white mages available in the game. We also have, of course, Fusoya and to a lesser extent, folks like Rydia and somewhat. So Porum is, I think it's fair to say, the inferior white mage. Her HP pool does not grow quite as quickly as Rosa. It can be a little difficult to have her survive through some of the more advanced Zero Miss tech that goes through, especially in unnerved Big Bang, unless you level her up to a significant degree, almost over leveling compared to everyone else. So how worried are you about that Porum? Or are you at the point where I've got all of these melee characters, they're gonna go brr and it's gonna be fine?
So I have a counterpoint to this if you are that worried about Porum going into the Z fight. And I would point us towards objective number 6 at that point. We are guaranteed an adamant armor. We are flush with Zeus gauntlets, weapons, power robes, everything you need to make these melee characters go burr. This is a world where I can actually say that if we are worried that hard about it, do we just strap the adamant armor onto the Porum and solve our problems?
Or just have a second adamant armor that Couch just picked up from the top of the tower.
Well, plans change, and yeah, I mean, I have no problem with giving that adamant over to that Cecil right now because, wow, oh, I guess we did need another power shirt, but, that's a wonderful find there, and now, hey, we do have another adamant armor coming. But, yeah, Couch elected to keep Porum over Rosa, and I'm guessing that it was more down to the fact that Porum had levels, Porum was already going, Rosa was getting a little hard to keep up right. Now, had Couch had that adamant armor in his possession at the time, maybe that's a different story here as Galeswift goes and he goes and hits an egg 2, is going to the Fey March, and this is a little bit of an interesting bit of divergence here. Now, Galeswift is likely going to go up the tower here, but Fey March is one of those things that can be ignored. So, again, if Galeswift comes up with anything down here and Couch decides it's time to go to the moon, advantage swings back to Galeswift at that point.
It can't be totally ignored, though, because we do have that 4th objective, defeat the king, which...
True. Yeah, never mind.
So, yeah, so it feels like you want... So, and it goes back to the question you asked, what would you do? And the prevailing wisdom is always, if you can do objectives, do objectives. And I think at this point in time, Couch is following that, and Galeswift is following that as well. Galeswift is just opting to check the Fey March first before the tower because it's higher level, and maybe presuming we'll be able to get through the Bahamut fight for some extra experience much quicker. And that's not necessarily a bad presumption either, because Bahamut is kind of a free fight.
Very much so here. As we do see Sid going down and getting anchored here, taking away the arty bow is relegating our engineer to probably what he's best at in this in his set in his C's here, and it's actually gonna just throw all that attacking gear onto Cecil. Probably not a bad idea here. Again, is not again, probably wishes he might have went up here because yeah, that adamant armor might be looming a little bit large from Couch here. So honestly, we've just got I mean, they're probably gonna take both bosses. We don't know who that Lunar Sparkle is, but we do know Blarg is already off the table. So I mean, I really don't want to see Ogopogo there, but it's doable.
So what other lunar is Wyvern the only lunar boss that we've seen? The only lunar sparkle? Because I'm concerned because I do want to see what that is, but I'm trying to eliminate. We haven't really seen any of the others, so it could be almost anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if I am both of these runners with both of these setups here, I want to see exactly Plague because it is about the freest of what's left here.
I love seeing Plague in the Fey March because, generally speaking, when I come down here, I'm already at low health, and a low health fight with a boss that doesn't actually deal any damage to you, fantastic, just absolutely fantastic to see. So honestly, I might have even checked that before anything else, but I understand the logic to your objectives.
Got multiple Berserkers. Couch opting to launch the spoon here. And who got walls up here? Okay, so Sid is walled up on Galeswift's side. Is that enough? No, it's not enough damage to completely take it down. Couch lobbed the spoon at Bahamut, so the spoon is gone. We got triple Zerkers going on here. Fora might get another turn to throw up a Veil just in case, but I'm wondering if Couch just straight up wins the damage race here. And that's a yes. So we've seen just about every boss here that we want to throw Star Veils at, and we haven't had to use a single one. But there is Ogopogo. That is, again, what you don't exactly want to see here. But again, with Couch's party here, not exactly threatening. Galeswift says, I don't care, I'm leaving. So we will get a little bit of time here just to see. Big gamble fading that. Will it pay off, or will it, yeah, not so much.
Yeah, we'll see. It's an interesting gamble on Couch's side. I respect the gamble because it's right here, and you can go ahead and do it. But I don't blame anyone for noping out of this because Ogopogo, no matter where it's at, is kind of rude.
Yep, Couch does get through Ogopogo here. Did throw away an elixir, unfortunate bottle of high-value healing juice gone. And just a nice shirt on that, so Galeswift does pick up a little bit of time here. Is that white shirt nice? However, for this party, not entirely valuable here. Actually, it is a little bit here, and Couch is signaling here with the white shirt that says, I have enough melee power with this group here. It is time to revert my Porum over to somebody who casts a little bit more magic here. It leaves everything else on, though.
Interesting, going ahead and healing up here. I would presume that we are now at the point on Couch's side. We do not have the pink tail. We do not have the sand ruby. It's time to go to the moon. Let's follow these objectives.
Yeah, about the only unknown we have left on the blue planet here is those dolls down in the barren basement, which Galeswift did take a swing at, and it actually does look like Couch is going to head that way, too.
This is an interesting play. I respect it. I like it. I understand the logic, but I'm also one of those runners personally that says, if you have an objective, go to the objective. And I think there's nothing that's stopping Couch from going up to the moon at this point in time. Also, I really just want to know who's up on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the only thing I'm taking up on the moon is exactly Fusoya at this point here. I mean, I can definitely see the logic behind Couch here. I really don't want to leave anything on the blue planet because, what happens if I find one of my two objectives here? Now, unfortunately, you can't find them both here, so there will be a return trip. God, what do you want to find here for your Couch? The pass. Yeah, I'd want to find the pass.
Did we see?
I didn't see an hourglass.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Couch's party power here is quite a bit greater than what Galeswift came down here. Nope, that's a big doll. So the question now comes down to, I mean, we do have a Berserker Adamant Cecil here. Looks like Kane's getting the Berserk treatment next here. Might just be able to power through the big doll here.
Oh yeah, and the big doll is not hitting for too much. Yeah, gets through it. Definitely, advantage Couch at this point in time in terms of the everything. Oh
big
my!
Big value in the Baron basement.
That's huge. So that's going to be not only another objective, but also a second adamant armor, which, as we have discussed throughout this tournament, is likely the most overpowered item in any Final Fantasy game ever, which is saying something.
I will say, you have been saying it, and now, while, before we could have probably hem-hawed a little bit on our moon route here, do you go, up or down here? That pink tail pretty much says you drive straight for that ribbon room because you only need one key item and that's where your objective is, so get to it.
Yeah, we're still missing the Sand Ruby, of course, which at this point in time, there's not a whole lot that we can do else on the blue planet, so let's go right to the moon. Goodness, just fly me to the moon.
I would continue that song if I knew more than 2 words after where you went to that.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's the extent of what I know. I should probably learn more of that song.
And we do have the anchor switch here. Kane got the second adamant armor. Kind of an interesting... Oh, took the arty off of... I could have sort... Oh, no, I think Couch sold both life staffs now that I think about it. Like, didn't we have like 8 billion life staffs this seed? Apparently we might have.
Meanwhile, Galeswift finishing up the lower Babel at this point in time. A lot of the gambles have... I respect Galeswift's play up until this point in time, but has not necessarily paid off. We do know that pink tail is going to be big. So Galeswift look like is making a play.
Now, there's only one thing I don't like about this for both runners here, and it comes down to one of the plays I said earlier. As both of our runners here have a rather large voucher in their pocket for a disgusting amount of Bacchus wine that neither is really capitalized on.
I agree with you. I think when you have a melee heavy party, it behooves you to go invest in wine country as soon as you possibly can. Just having a stack of 20, 30, I don't care how many, but just slam down your bag of gold and say, give me all the wine.
Shut up and take my money. But yeah, now that I think about it, there's not really much left in what would be the Hummingway shop. We've seen everything, I think, except for maybe coffins. And I'm not even sure.
I think we've seen I think we've seen coffins actually in one of the shops. help me out, trackers, if we have. But I think we've seen coffins, hourglasses, sirens, and just about everything that we could possibly see. To the point where there's no point in checking those shops. And we see a Yang available on the moon as a character check, which would have been nice an hour ago, almost an hour ago. But we have a quick save, and we are diving into the lunar subterranean now. Galeswift is going to check the item shop. I don't think there's going to be anything here.
Yeah, now that's a little weird. I'm kind of wondering. Yeah, Woobear says save beans top down, and I'm like, wait a minute, does this mean top down? I mean, it does kind of sound like Couch maybe taking a swing at the Mirasame spot here before heading down to the bottom. And Noah's now walking down to the bottom. Couch faking me out here.
Couch, why you confuse us commentators? We're supposed to look smart in front of everyone. You're making us look silly. No, but I mean, I can understand a safety save. You always want a safety save. But when the ribbon room is, it's fairly deep in there. We're going to be passing the Murasame spot. We're going to be passing the Crystal Sword spot before the first save. Yeah, I don't understand the safety save, but I guess I can respect it.
I get it here. If you are going for exactly the Murasame altar, think you're going to run into something that your team can't handle and don't want to sit through the character spawn again. I totally get that save, but yeah, kind of weird here. And as it comes down to it, again, Couch just up one major check here. The thing is, Galeswift is likely going to complete this moon. So what Galeswift actually wants to see out of this is Galeswift wants to see the chain, wants to see maximum completion, doesn't want that sand ruby to be anywhere on the moon, wants to have it buried, behind like Earth Crystal, Twin Harp, to Luca for it kind of thing. Which is still a possibility.
I was going to say, I think we've cleared out every spot that's currently available on the moon. So if we're going to do any sort of digging back on the blue planet, it's going to be unlocked from something we get on the moon. So I think if you're Galeswift, you're going to say, hey, let's have the Twin Harp here. Let's have something that allows him to gamble in order to catch up. And then having, the sand ruby buried that way, as opposed to just being freely available on the moon. You want it buried a little bit.
The interesting thing is we did see Couch go through his menu with Cecil at the beginning of that fight, and pretty much I could hear him say, wait, where's the drinks?
It's all right. When you have a melee party, you have a problem. And the problem is that you don't have enough beverages to share with everyone. So...
it is only a problem at this point when he ran out, and unfortunately he has run out at this point.
Moving through the element spot fairly quickly, though. Not having too much difficulty. This is not a high melee damage spot right now. Just get moving through. Very nice. Elements is done. Nice chunk of experience. Finally, Porum knows Cure 4. That's really all you expect Porum to know.
Yeah, that's huge. And for our treasures here, we have our Twin Harp. Vitasia, are you playing the Powerball tomorrow by any chance?
No, but I am playing March Madness bracket, so maybe I will win some money there. My goodness. So, yeah, that's your last key item. Couch is obviously checking some other places. And this is going to be the alt gauntlet spot. How much do you gamble right now? Or when do you gamble? When do you decide to turn back?
That is a hard one. I kind of have seen races won and lost on the back of a gamble here with an alt gauntlet, and sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I would be fairly tempted right now. Again, this is a bit of a grind, and I'm not exactly mad at the grind either, because this does one thing, and I wish, even without the Bacchus, I do think Couch does still have some hourglasses on hand and might actually want to throw a few, or might just be waiting until Porum gets into dire straits and you need to actually recover, which is also a perfectly good strategy here. But this is a grind. This is a grind to get Porum up to Z readiness. Again, doesn't generally need as much hit points as as Rosa here. Does have a good amount of good gear. Probably wants about 1,800, I would say, to at least have a modicum of safety here. Especially again with 3 Berserkers, because again, you could still go down to the blue planet here. With a team like this, I would just take it. I would definitely take a small stop here, just to grab some Bacchus wine, just because it would pay for itself in terms of speed here. Now the one thing you would definitely want to see here, if you're either runner, is still that pass. The pass is looming, and you really don't want to take the double walk here either.
We do see Galeswift resetting out of this alt gauntlet. I like this play, honestly. I don't know if Couch had the Dragoon Lance, which would have made a lot of these King Ryu fights much quicker at this point in time, but Galeswift opted, it doesn't matter, doesn't have the cane, has a Sid as the primary anchor at this point in time, says, I'm going to do something else. Oh, D-looters. Okay.
That's not bad here. Now, I would be very, I'm not sure I would Berserk here, because this spot has some serious magic power, as he's going to find out. I mean, if you've seen Golbez at this spot, you see Golbez trying to go for quad 9s here, so Galeswift going to run into this here. Might not like these viruses coming out.
This is a good time to opt to throw that spoon in the meantime. And using Sid as kind of an alchemist at this point in time, says, hey, let's go ahead and do this. Oof, those viruses.
It's not going to stop 3K viruses, unfortunately.
All right, and opts and says, okay, well, I guess I'm going to bite the bullet and do this alt gauntlet. Whew, okay.
Yeah, that's a rude spot. I'm kind of weird because, yeah, again, somebody did point out that the Dragoon Spear was the reward for taking out the king, so both runners actually got that. So
I mean, that's the primary reason I keep Kane around more than anything, is that Dragoon Lance is so good against so many bosses there towards the end game, so many rude things that could possibly pop up.
Yeah, I definitely agree here, and again, Defense Sword, really good, but again, Dragoon Spear generally better.
Meanwhile, Couch is almost through, has a trigger, which is more annoying than anything. Just, it keeps on trying to, in the original game, it keeps on trying to get you to cast some sort of thunder spell. Hello, Crystal Sword.
Oh, baby, that's, we were going a little bit burr, now we're going a whole lot burr here. And we even gave Edge an extra dart out of the deal. I would consider maybe berserking up against here again. Not the key item you wanted, or the key item you needed, but possibly the key item you wanted. Again, though, you better probably have Edge loaded up with that X-Scowl, ready to toss the D-Lunar that gets hit by this Berserking Cecil. Just because, again, oh no, he's straight up attacked with Cecil actually here. And does get the quad 9s, but you better get some more quad 9s before those viruses start coming out, my friend.
Yeah, quad 9s is going to be very difficult. Worth pointing out, the Dragoon Lance still does great damage against dragon skeletons, by the way.
Oh, very much so, yeah. Yeah, Dragoon Lance would have done some absolutely major work here, as Edge takes a casual 4,700 there.
So does Porum, but one down.
Yeah, one down, and Couch does get a little lucky here just because, you know, Cecil is among the living here, so counterfire is bad, but better than very large viruses coming back at you. So Couch through this fight here. Let's see what we find.
Gets through. Let's not mince words, is very lucky. Just a Moonveil, though. I mean, Moonveils can absolutely carry you through some harder fights, but at this point, if you have Crystal Sword, Adamant Cecil, you're probably not worried about needing an item to carry you through the fight.
Yeah, I mean, you're just basically making Cecil here. But, I mean, we're down to 3 checks. We've got exactly a Twin Harp out of here. And again, this is exactly what Galeswift needed here, is a little bit of extra time. Did get some back checking that, bailing out of the Gauntlet and checking and bouncing off of the D-Lunars there. Should get back through here. Does have that grind. Again, your whole big thing about Porum, and, you know, well said at that point here. That alt Gauntlet with everything else, even if Porum was down for that fight with the D-Lunars there, again, our parties are still at the point, yeah, 17-10 with the gear that Porum has, and a couple more moon fights still have to go. She'll be fine for Zia at this point.
I'm calling it right now. Chat, mark it down. Sand Ruby behind Earth Crystal.
Sand Ruby behind Earth Crystal, and here we have a turtle. Not the scariest of turtles here, actually, but that's just because we have an Adamant Crystal Cecil.
Absolutely. You know, the wave isn't too scary. The wave is based on the HP of the location, which there's really... The original Wyvern does not have a ton of health at this particular location, so not nearly as intimidating as it was before. Chat, get your guesses in. Where is the Sand Ruby? Is it going to be behind... I mean, it's obviously... It could be behind any of these locations that are up on the moon, or it could be buried behind other items that you find up here on the moon. So, what do you think? Let's get some engagement here in chat, as the social media experts end up saying. Where do you think it's at?
Well, I don't know where it's at, but I do know where a third suit of adamant armor is on a seat, because holy everything. Porum is, nope, giving us the tease there. Oh no, it is going to happen. Couch says, yeah, okay, I'm going to adamant this child here.
And with everyone else with adamant armor at this point in time, we are forced to put Edge, normally our very fast ninja, in the middle slot as our agility anchor.
Couch going in for rest on the whale, probably coming back for that top-down slot here. Now, again, you've had your witch moments this seed, and I kind of want my witch moment here. You asked where they wanted it here. I want that whole thing. I want to extend this race. I want that Twin Harp to have Earth Crystal, and I want that Earth Crystal to have a Luca Key, and I want that Luca Key to have a Sand Ruby, which means one of these two spots up here has to have a Zonk and the Path.
That would be incredibly rude, and I am here for it. most importantly, because that means that particular combination of events will not happen when you and I have to race later.
I've run some pretty cursed seeds here, so I will never say never, because I think of our group races here. I think I'm 28 out of 28, at least 2 of the 4.
Meanwhile, the Murasame altar is just a couple of guards normally found in the Baron Inn. These guards can be a little bit rude, but because they are normal enemies, they are susceptible to, of course, stop and the hourglass function. So this is the point where we let Cecil do his thing.
Oh, even better. Edge is still carrying a mute knife over there, and these guys do count as mages here. Even gonna get a life glitch on one of those here, and double XP.
I mean, why do you need the life glitch at this point in time? You're Cecil with 3,500 health.
Because we want our form to have over 2,200, I guess.
Okay, I mean, why not?
Oh, however, our hopes for the Chain of Death dashed here as Cave Value would, the Twin Harp would kick off the chain, and we know that the pass would have to be at the back of that chain. We are going to come back, and we aren't going to head down there. And you kind of wonder if the other runner might have done something. I mean, actually, no, not really, because if you're Couch or Galeswift at this point, you find that Sand Ruby, and if you've been tracking your key items that well here, you know exactly where that pass has to be, so you would assume that your opponent is also going to be taking the Walk of Shame back onto the moon here.
Absolutely. Well, maybe. I mean, we did abandon the Cave of Value, Adamant Cave, so maybe if you went ahead and did that. But in all likelihood, we know exactly how this is going down at this point in time. And welcome to Free Enterprise Channel. Thank you so much for the raid. Please, as a reminder, do not spoil the results of the other race that happened earlier over on the Free Enterprise. We are in a wonderful matchup that will help determine the fate of the Karate Gi group in Galeswift versus Couch 23. Couch firmly in the driver's seat at this point in time. Although Galeswift is not far behind, it will really determine, what ends up happening with their Zeramus fights at this point in time. They are an hour 14 in. It's been a very, very, very fast scene through this.
Question here, did Couch give up Edge? Yes, Couch absolutely gave up Edge there. Says, I want an anchor, and he was the only person in my party not wearing an adamant armor.
To anchor or not to anchor? That is the question. 'Tis nobler to have agility under 28. Or is not, I'm going to butcher my Shakespeare if I keep going from this point in time. So let me write something later.
I mean, to be fair, this is Aroma, especially with those levels that are being packed here. I do not fault the anchor choice here. Couch should, again, be academic, and the one thing here is, again, the most important party member, the Crate of Bacchus wine, still has not been acquired.
That is interesting, and that really then doubles Tella as an anchor, and since we haven't activated Mount Ordeals, says, Tella can then cast Zerk on someone on his way out the door to be an anchor.
Of major interest here. Oh, wait, that's right. Galeswift doesn't have the pink tail. Galeswift doesn't know that pink tail is under in the Baron basement.
Oh, this is bad. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, if this ends up being the pass, it may not benefit Galeswift in a time sense, but it could mitigate the damage.
Yeah, mitigates it here, and again, this fight is not going to take long. The Berserk is going to land on this Cecil here, and you're going to see a bunch of hits for quad 9s, and that'll be the end of that.
Crystal Sword Cecil is truly broken. I mean, for lack of a better term, broken. And through the fight, if this ends up being the pass, it might even end up benefiting Galeswift a little bit. Nope!
No, an Earth Crystal. That's going to drive him likely towards the Tower of Zot. Again, possible that he says Earth Crystal or the Barren Basement, and I know the dolls are there because I walked away from them. The Barren Basement is the faster of the two checks.
That said, a wise man once said, if you gamble away a location, keep your gamble. Like, don't, if you've already gambled away some of the location, like last location at that point in time, you've already made the gamble that that's not the answer, so stick to your answer and don't gamble it away. That would be horrible for Galeswift to do, but I can absolutely understand why he would do that, because he's already checked that location. And yeah, he had a rough time doing it, but at that point you leave it. He will not do that though. He is making the right decision.
Yep. Meanwhile, we got a question here, and who is Bud? What is Bud? And is Bud cute? I believe are the questions we need to ask here. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct. We like to randomize things here in the Final Fantasy IV free enterprise community. We cannot shuffle Zeramus into the boss pool because that's just a little too much. But we do like to randomize his final form. So the question becomes, whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
Hello does us the honors while Porum queues up that Berserk onto a Holy Sword wielding Cecil here, and we have, drumroll please,
Basomus. All your base, all your base are belong to us. Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the early 90s.
I'm not old, I swear. Meanwhile, Galeswift does find the pink tail and is quite happy there.
Yep, and we do see the first Big Bang come out, and unfortunately Tella is just going to take that long promise nap. And Adamant Armor Porum, I'll say that again for the possums in the back here, Adamant Armor Porum takes a grand total of 490 damage.
And between Porum and, everyone with adamant armor on Couch's side, this will be a very quick fight. Galeswift has a couple turn-ins to do and then has the Walk of Shame back up on the moon. But this has been overall a very, very fast scene overall. And we were talking about how long we were going to be spending here tonight.
And again, here's the thing. Now, there was a wipe or two taken, but otherwise, Galeswift was on Couch's heels this entire time, because I'm pretty sure Couch is almost in controller down mode here with these two Berserkers here. Would take I'm not even sure a wombo combo would do it at this point here. I'm pretty sure it is just academic that these Berserkers are going to end this phase of this right here now.
Yeah, we have Meteor falling. That is the final phase. Rocks fall. And that is just about it. Yeah, rocks fall. GG's to Couch 23 with our winner with the final time, a very fast time, all things considered, of 1 hour, 20 minutes, 48 seconds. GG's to Couch 23, moving to 2-0 in the Karate Gi group, into sole place of first place. No, not in sole place. Stone Dingley is still 3-0. Galeswift moving to 2-2. But GG's Couch. We'll see if Couch is available for a quick interview.
He has joined us right now, actually. He is very much available. GG Couch. A first real question here is, I mean, you saw this objective list with us is here, and first thing we said in the boost here is that is a ton of key items here. This could be going up to a 2-hour seed, and yet here we are an hour 20 later, and here you are in the interview room already.
We got lucky, all right? We'll call it luck, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Very much so. So, again, both of you, it didn't really diverge much until actually both making your underground plays there. Kind of walk me through, especially like the early part of that seed there. Looting was kind of diverse there. You skipped a little bit, like did Dempsey in there. Ended up finding a couple arty bows, which I believe is kind of what propelled you a little bit forward with that group you had. Because I mean, even Galeswift found a curse ring, found a little bit of extra Zeus gauntlets, and a little bit more clear of the Fey March chest. So kind of walk us through a little bit of that opening, if you could.
I really don't have an answer. I just kind of saw the magma key. I was like, hey, let's go underground. And then, I don't know, like, I was just making it up, all right?
I would expect nothing less, actually, there, Invitatia.
Yeah, Couch, was there a point that you felt, because really the seed kind of flowed into itself kind of throughout, and it didn't feel like, there was a lot of hard decisions that necessarily had to be made throughout. You just kind of went from one spot to the next. Was there a spot that you felt you had to make a really solid decision one way or the other as you were running through?
Kind of not really with this one. Like, it was pretty straightforward. It was, hey, follow the objectives almost. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. Just like, just kind of play it as it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, even if it was just winging it there, execution was on par. I can talk tonight. But yeah, the execution was really good, and even if we were just kind of flying by the seat of your pants there, really just no real mistakes there. The only one thing is, did you sell your Dragoon Spears before that moon dive? Because I swear, like, that cane.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering, like, where was it? I know he had a Dragoon Spear. Where'd it go?
No, he had a defense sword, so I was like, whatever, we'll get rid of it.
Yep. Otherwise, you are 2-0 now, and a good solid position. Like I said, Stone Dingley is at 3-0 here. We'll ask you actually, when is your next match in the Adamant Cup here?
In about 14 hours.
14 hours. About 10 a.m. Well, about 11 a.m. roughly Eastern tomorrow, I believe.
Yep.
Awesome. Again, Vitae, do you have any more questions here for him?
No, I mean, you just ran. It was probably the most efficient race, and it's really difficult to find questions because it just
it felt
everything
really
just happened. Like, it happened right in front of us.
It legitimately felt really good to actually like play that seed. That was a really good seed.
Yeah, I mean it. Again, we're just we're thinking we're gonna be here for a while. You showed us. I mean, we both had like 10 key items before 35 minutes. That's nuts.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed that seed.
Yep. Any other thoughts on the seed, or do we just kind of get there?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Well, I will offer you GGs once more here. Extremely well played again, and we'll hope to see you. I mean, I'll be at work, unfortunately, so I'll bring you up on the side here. But again, good luck tomorrow and through the rest of the Adamant Cup here.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Once again, GG's to Couch23. If you like what you saw from him, go ahead and give him a follow here on Twitch. Big shout out, of course, also to Galeswift as Gale starts his zero miss fight at this point in time. One last shout out, of course, to our crew behind the scenes, Neobari for the restream and rolling the seed. This wonderful, wonderful seed that Neobari, if you're going to be rolling my next seed, I really would appreciate it to be this kind. And also Black Ice for the tracking behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, very much so. And all extended staff could not do this without you here. And I think the biggest thing to take away from this here is that even though like it's been like about 6 minutes since Couch is finished here, that I mean, yeah, there was a wipe or two. I mean, everybody takes one of those. This was an extremely solid race by Galeswift, and anybody that actually says, well, anything about this, Galeswift hung this entire time. Honestly, this was a well-played race by both of them here. So again, you're going to see a finish here that's probably going to still be sub 130.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone should feel ashamed for any sort of sub 130 race. Like at that point, it's just okay, there's micro optimizations that you can't really account for in these sorts of randomized races. It's just very, very minor things here and there that made up the difference. Worst case scenario, if you want to add the big chunk of it up, it's the wipe when you first checked the Baron Castle basement throne. That's it. Like that's the when I think back to the majority of this race, like that's the majority of what I think could have made the difference. Otherwise, these two were neck and neck through the vast majority of this race. They may not have been in the same room necessarily, but they were absolutely checking each other's spots, going through different locations and things of that nature. That it was a very, very close race. Do not let the 8 or 9 minute difference play to mind. It was neck and neck from the word go.
I think Form's going to get in on the Berserking party here. That Cecil is doing 7,500 plus with these swings. Edge chipping in. We see a shake from Basimus, and Galeswift does not care. Oh, never mind. It's done.
And it looks like Galeswift finishes with a final time of 1:28.47, so just under 8 minutes difference between the two. In these sorts of randomizer races, that is a blink of an eye. That can happen, honestly. So GG's to Galeswift, and we'll check to see if Galeswift is available for a quick discussion.
Yep, I have actually been notified that Galeswift has declined an interview at this point, so I will just say GG's again. There is no shame whatsoever in that finish. That is an extremely good run. 128.47 wins a lot of races. So again, 2-2. Very likely to probably go 3-2 in that group, and that's probably at least going to be I would say a good chance of getting into a tiebreaker there. So I don't think we've seen the end of Galeswift just yet here.
Absolutely not. I mean, that Karate Gi group is absolutely stacked with Galeswift at 2-2, a Stone Dingley at 3-0, and then Couch 23 at 2-0. My goodness, that is a stacked group and one to absolutely keep an eye on. It does look like, I mean, with Galeswift declining to interview, it does look like we'll be heading over to the primary free enterprise channel at this point in time, where we do have an ongoing race right now. So same sort of consideration for all of the other raiders that, when they rated us, they didn't tell us what the outcome of the race is. Please be considerate of everyone who wants to go back through and watch the restreams. Do not spoil the end of this race for them as we go over there. One final shout out, of course, to all of the folks behind the streams, Black Ice on the tracking, Neobari on the restream, and of course Night Dew And you know what? I always have a blast working with you every time that we get to work together. I know we're two of the old heads, but it never gets old. I love working with you, man.
Oh no, I love working with you. It does look like we're waiting here. You think the next race starts in about 15 minutes, actually. So we're gonna get a little bit of extended music, but I will say, hang on, because we just have a little bit of time. I know outside of that, or we're fixing something here. I'm kind of getting mixed messages in the so chill just a little bit, and we will get you onto more Free Enterprise in just a moment. Again, it's shouting out for everybody. Batasia, it has been an absolute blast tonight. My only regret is that we must meet as enemies the next time we meet.
It's not enemies. It's like rivals. We'll say it's one of us has to be Gary, the other one has to be Red. And in our own particular races, which will be an epic battle to end the all ages, or something like that.
So dibs on Squirtle first, then.
However we break it down.
But yes, we'll. It looks like we're just gonna have a little bit of music here, and our wonderful restream headed up by Scala Kitty here will kick us over here when we are ready. So enjoy some tunes here, and we'll get you over there as soon as we're ready for more Free Enterprise action here.